The Man-Eaters of Njombe, a chilling tale of terror and survival. In the annals of East African history, amidst the rugged terrain and dense jungles of Tanzania's Njombe region, a dark and haunting legend persists, the tale of the Man-Eaters of Njombe. This story transcends mere folklore. It is a chilling account rooted in factual events that shook the local communities and echoed through the corridors of colonial administration in the early 20th century. Njombe, nestled in what is now part of Tanzania's southern highlands, was then a landscape teeming with diverse wildlife and inhabited by various indigenous tribes. The arrival of European settlers brought with it not only new technologies and infrastructure, but also upheaval in the delicate balance of the local ecosystems. The emergence of the Man-Eaters of Njombe, two male lions who became notorious for preying on humans, marked a dramatic shift in the region's dynamics. Lions, traditionally apex predators targeting wild game such as antelopes and zebras, turned their predatory instincts towards the people who had coexisted with them for centuries. The lions' names, marauding through oral tradition and historical accounts, were often blurred by the broader fear they instilled. Their depredations were characterized by a ruthless efficiency, targeting vulnerable villagers who ventured outside their protected enclaves. Unlike typical pride leaders who controlled territories, these lions roamed far and wide, leaving a trail of terror in their wake. For the villagers of Njombe, life under the shadow of the Man-Eaters was a descent into constant fear and paranoia. The once familiar rhythms of daily life were disrupted as people barricaded themselves in their homes after dark, afraid to tend crops or fetch water from nearby streams. The lions struck unpredictably, their roars at night a chilling reminder of imminent danger. Accounts from survivors painted a harrowing picture of the lions' methodical approach. They described how the beasts, driven not merely by hunger, but seemingly by a sinister intelligence, targeted individuals on the outskirts of settlements or those isolated while performing routine tasks. In some instances, victims were dragged from their beds in the dead of night, their screams echoing through the silent darkness. As reports of lion attacks escalated, reaching the desks of colonial administrators and British officials, a concerted effort to eliminate the man-eaters was swiftly mobilized. This was not just a matter of safeguarding human lives, but also a test of colonial authority and the perception of control over the untamed African wilderness. Experienced hunters and trackers were enlisted, their skills honed in the art of hunting big game, now turned towards the elusive predators terrorizing Njombe. Armed with rifles, traps, and a determination hardened by the urgency of the task, they ventured into the lion-infested wilderness, guided by the testimony of survivors and the expertise of local guides familiar with the terrain. The hunt for the man-eaters was not merely a physical endeavor, but a psychological battle against an enemy whose cunning matched their lethal prowess. Days turned into weeks as the hunters tracked elusive paw prints through dense undergrowth, their senses heightened by the ever-present threat of ambush. Each encounter with the lions was fraught with tension. The predators, aware of their pursuers yet undeterred by human presence, exhibited a brazenness that defied conventional wisdom about predator behavior. They seemed to relish the challenge, evading traps and luring hunters into precarious situations where the advantage shifted unpredictably. Survivors of lion attacks, scarred both physically and emotionally, recounted their harrowing ordeals with a mix of awe and horror. Their stories painted a vivid tableau of survival against overwhelming odds of narrow escapes from the jaws of death, and the loss of loved ones whose lives were claimed by the ruthless hunters prowling the night. One such survivor, whose name has been lost to time, but whose testimony remains seared into the collective memory of Njombe, described a night of terror when the lions descended upon his village like vengeful spirits. He spoke of the primal fear that gripped him as he watched helplessly while the predators dragged away his neighbors, their agonized cries fading into the darkness. The Man-Eaters of Njombe hold a notorious reputation as having one of the highest body counts of kills recorded for lions. Their estimated total of between 1,500 to 2,000 human fatalities places them among the deadliest lions in recorded history. Their attacks spanned over several years in the 1930s in the Njombe region of Tanzania, making them a significant and tragic chapter in human-wildlife interactions.